Does Texas Hold'em rely on luck or strategy? Welcome to the AGI-Eval AI Showdown channel. To answer that question, we conducted an unprecedented AI Texas Hold'em showdown. We first had these top large models learn the rules of Texas Hold'em, then retrieve and absorb existing strategies, and finally write their own Texas Hold'em strategy code. This differs from large models directly playing at the table with real-time reasoning. Instead, it allows them to implement their understanding of the game into code. Through these code agents, we can observe each model's real understanding of Texas Hold'em from its overall strategy and code design. The competition is whose code plays Texas Hold'em better. At the same time, we added a random player who plays without looking at cards or thinking. After that, we put all models on the same battlefield. 300 matches, 60 hands each, and 18,000 hands in total. Using a full round-robin format, every strategy plays against every other one. Here, you will see strategy and luck collide head-on in the same system. In Texas Hold'em, the goal is to win chips. Each hand, you get 2 private cards. During the game, 5 community cards will be revealed in sequence. The hand has 4 betting rounds. You can fold, check, call, or raise. Finally, players combine their 2 whole cards and the 5 community cards to make the best possible hand. For this AI code agent poker showdown, we've set 2 extra limitations. Each player starts with only 1,000 chips. If you lose all chips, you're out. Each match consists of a fixed 60 hands. After 60 hands, the player with the most chips is the winner of the match. Without further ado, let the showdown begin. First up is this competition's number 1, Qwen 3 coder. He appears as steady as a rock, but strikes lethally at critical moments. His code implements a precise hand, strength scoring system that evaluates pairs, suited cards, and high connectors before the flop. After the flop, it quickly judges strength by hand ranking. It weights scores by early, middle, and late position and factors in pot odds, betting about 75% of the pot to force opponents into mistakes. His bluffing frequency is about 10%. He seems conservative, but is good at seizing the right moment to strike, maximizing long-term returns. Take hand 19 of match 146, for example. Qwen 3 coder held A7 in the big blind. It didn't look strong, but his algorithm judged the opponent as overly aggressive with unfavorable pot odds. So, he raised 3 consecutive times, pushing the pot to 1,309. This series of actions reflects his core strategy, using position and pot odds advantages to force opponents to fold with value bets when they show weakness. He'd rather force them out than risk a showdown. Next up is GPT-5, an AI code agent that resembles a high-frequency market-making bot. GPT-5 uses a fully data-driven Monte Carlo win rate strategy. It samples unknown board states to calculate true winning odds and uses positional weighting to adjust its aggression thresholds. Tight in early position, loose in late position. If the win rate exceeds 60%, it attacks. Above 80%, it keeps applying pressure. Its VPIP and pre-flop raise rates are 80%, meaning it plays most hands and raises aggressively. It's a classic very loose aggressive model, driven by high-frequency play and win rate. In hand 49 of match 53, GPT-5 was in the big blind with A and J. The opponent raised, but with pot odds of 4.5, re-raising pre-flop offered little value. Following its programming, it just called. The flop came J, A in 10, giving it top 2 pair. At that point, its win rate was well over 80%, so it repeatedly raised, betting nearly 70% of the pot each time as its strategy dictates. The opponent, Claude Code, held 3 jacks a leading hand, but folded under GPT-5's repeated big raises. Then, when the 6 hit the turn, GPT-5 fired another large value bet, driving off the remaining opponents. This hand shows GPT-5's willingness to leverage its mathematical edge to force opponents into mistakes. It uses simulated win rates to constantly pressure opponents, maximizing value with strong hands and minimizing risk with weak ones. It breaks through by combining high-frequency play with precise aggression. Next up is OpenAI Codex. Its playstyle can be summed up in one phrase: pattern-following strategy. OpenAI Codex employs a classic tight aggressive strategy with strong positional awareness. Pre-flop, it strictly selects starting hands, only raising with premium holdings and focusing on pot control with the rest. Post-flop, it evaluates made hand strength and draw potential, using pot odds to decide whether to continue investing. It value bets decisively with strong hands, but mostly checks and calls when on a draw, only making small bets from late position when the expected value is positive. In this hand, OpenAI Codex held J and 8 suited. Pre-flop, despite multiple raises, it only called, deliberately avoiding high-intensity confrontation. After flopping a flush draw, it still checked to control the pot. On the turn, with both flush and straight draws, it still didn't seize the initiative. Even when completing the flush on the river, it chose to check and go to showdown, quietly collecting the 2,169 pot. This is a playstyle that strictly relies on math and rules. It never gambles on emotion. Instead, it uses a very low VPIP and steady win rate to accumulate an edge over the long term. Next is Claude4 Sonnet, a gentleman mad dog polite in appearance but vicious when he strikes. Claude4 Sonnet's strategy falls into the tight aggressive category. It not only determines whether to enter a pot based on starting hand strength and position, but also tracks opponents' VPIP, pre-flop, raise rate, and aggression to build a model of the table. It then fine-tunes its play accordingly, keeping bluff frequency at 18. It doesn't play recklessly, but when the time comes, it isn't afraid to act. In hand 5 of match 154, it was dealt pocket queens and kept re-raising to build the pot. It forced most opponents to fold pre-flop. After a J3 and 6 flop, facing draws, it checked to control the pace. It remained restrained on the turn and river, collecting a huge pot with its top pair. Claude4 Sonnet plays like a disciplined trader, balancing aggression and risk. It strikes without hesitation when appropriate, and backs off calmly when needed, embodying a tight, aggressive yet flexible professionalism. Claude Code plays contrary to expectations, flashes of genius mixed with inexplicable meltdowns. Claude Code uses a typical loose aggressive strategy. Its starting hand range is wide high cards. Connectors and small to medium pairs are all playable. Compared to tight aggressive players, it plays about 20% more hands. Its style centers on proactive aggression, frequent raises and re-raises to apply pressure. From late position, it leans towards stealing blinds and selective bluffing, using tempo and uncertainty to push opponents out of pots. In this hand, it held 5 suited, a standard attacking hand, in a loose aggressive strategy. It has flush potential and top pair value when it hits an ace. It first raised to 20. After GLM4, 5 and Qwen 3 re-raised, it responded by 3-betting to 237, pushing the action toward confrontation. Then, random went all in. Several players called. Claude Code nearly put all its chips in. This reflects a typical loose aggressive mindset. Build the pot first, then accept the variance. In the end, although it didn't complete a flush, its A9-2 pair won a huge 6,010 pot in this all-in hand. Claude Code is like a freewheeling wild man at the table. Wide ranges, heavy strikes, a tolerance for volatility, and winning through aggression rather than waiting for a premium hand, the essence of the LAG strategy. Gemini 2.5 Pro is a landslide-style player that creates uncertainty through extremely high frequency. Its strategy code randomly chooses between raise, call, or fold based on fixed probabilities. At first glance, it lacks professional evaluation, yet it produces a loose aggressive style with extremely high VPIP and pre-flop raise rates, making its hand strength hard to read. In this hand, Gemini 2.5 Pro limped in pre-flop with K5 suited. Most opponents folded, leaving only 25 inches the pot. After the flop, random suddenly went all in. Facing second pair on a dry board, Gemini 2.5 Pro didn't back down. It called the all-in and forced the game into a high-risk confrontation. It kept the pressure on through the turn and river, ultimately winning a 2,490 pot with a king-high kicker. Its core strategy isn't to compute everything before acting, but to crank up the pressure first. It hardly bothers with hand selection. Instead, it creates confrontations at extremely high frequency, breaking opponents' defenses in the short term with uncertainty and nerve. Lastly, we have Random, a pure dice roller. It uses a purely random decision framework. No hand reading, no board reading, and no adjustments based on opponent actions or position. All actions are chosen based on fixed weights. Fold 20%, check 35%, call 30%, raise 25%, all in only 5%. In this hand, both Random and Claude4 Sonnet held 8 and 6 combinations. Random immediately went all in for 728. OpenAI Codex and Claude4 Sonnet both went all in to trap it. After the flop, Random hit a pair of 8s. The river brought a 6, giving it 2 pair. Claude4 Sonnet also had 8-6, but was suited blocked and couldn't follow through. You can't rationalize it, that's just variance. As the series reached 300 matches, the ELO rankings converged toward the official rankings. Models with solid strategies held the top spots, while Random, despite occasional upsets, remained in the middle of the table over the long run. So, returning to our question at the start of the video, does Texas Hold'em hinge on luck or on skillful play? By now we have a clear answer. Luck alone can't crown a true champion. Those who can truly stand their ground over the long run are always the large models with solid strategies. And that's precisely why we built the Katarina project. Katarina is a comprehensive benchmark framework designed to fill the gaps left by existing evaluations that only test static code correctness and single reasoning ability. We aim to create an iterative, competitive, and adversarial environment that forces large models to translate their strategies into executable code and have their own code agents sit at the table to battle. In the full experiment, we granted all large models permission to access historical information, read opponents' code, study their playstyles, and freely modify their own strategies. This enables us to systematically measure and reveal the algorithmic thinking and adaptability of large models, how they iteratively improve strategies, exploit opponent weaknesses, and survive in dynamic environments. In human society, the core of gameplay is learning, correcting, and evolving through confrontation. Yet, in multiple rounds of matches, no AI has truly done this. Finally, we've open-sourced the entire system. Beyond Texas Hold'em, we've also launched a Gomoku competition. If you want to dive into the theoretical logic, explore the code framework, or directly call the API to play, search for Katarina to find the complete open-source resources. In the future, we'll continue to add chess, bridge, and other adversarial environments so that different large models can truly distinguish themselves in richer, more complex games. This is the AGI-Eval large model evaluation community. See you next time!